I attempted to do a live stream, I believe it was yesterday, um, but the sound was off for some reason. So let me know if the sound is okay, if you can hear me today. That would be awesome. Yeah, going to move this a little bit further away, like that. I just wanted to say a few words about the digital ID that is being implemented in the UK now. They say that it's it will go through a process of I don't know what they called it in English, but essentially some people that and maybe organizations that probably agree anyway, they will be asked if you think this is a good idea. They will say yes, and then they will implement the digital ID. Um, I've also heard that they're going to start it tomorrow anyway, and they might roll it back if those organizations and people say it's not a good idea. But I think we all understand that this is just bureaucracy, and they're going to implement it, and it's happening now. So, what is a digital ID? A lot of people would say, "What's the difference?" You already have an ID. You need to show an ID when you do certain things in society, when you travel, when you know so and when you use a card to pay your bills, there is maybe an ID on your card. So what's the big deal? Well, the digital ID is essentially the thing that connects everything. So in other words, when you're in that system, it only takes the push of one button, so to speak, to shut you out of everything, every function in society. So let's say, for instance, you disagree with a future government. If you think they're being a little bit too totalitarian or unfair, and you say something about that on social media, well, suddenly you can't go and buy food because your digital money, which is coming, it has also, of course, is also connected to your digital ID. Now you can't travel anywhere because you need to show your ID, and you've been shut out of everything because of that. So it's a system that can be used to control people, and probably will. And it doesn't matter if you happen to think that the present government in the UK is fantastic. You know, I don't think, I haven't really heard anyone saying that, but if you think they are fantastic and they're doing a great job, they're the best people on the planet ever, well, you see, the system will be in place and it will be there waiting for a government in the future that will maybe not be so nice to you. So it's like it's a very bad idea. Well, it's a bad idea if you care about people's freedom. Now, I think we all understand that the people in positions of power now, not only in the UK, but also, of course, in the USA. Digital ID is coming to the USA very soon, by the way. Mark my words. The EU and so on and so on, they don't care about your freedom. They really don't. They don't care about your rights. It's about control at this point. And I do not believe that you have people in positions of power thinking that, oh, we need to control all these people or else the climate will go to hell. I don't think that's the case. I think that they just are trying to do what people in positions of power have always tried to do, which is to control the masses so that they can remain in power. Control what they're thinking, control how they're feeling, keep them docile and fat and entertained. So, and mentioning that, I find it interesting how addictions are obviously being used by big pharma. Now, big pharma, big tech, big media is connected. It's owned by the same people. That's not a conspiracy theory. And they have very, very strong and ties to politicians and governments in most countries. So they practically decide their policies, so to speak. Now, you might say that, oh, that's a conspiracy theory, but it really isn't. And if you, at this point, believe that's a conspiracy theory, I don't know what to say to you because, we've been through COVID. Anyone remember it was called the coronavirus, but they changed the name? Isn't that funny? Why did they do that? I find that also very interesting. So, yeah, they own the governments, basically. So I find it interesting that we are now seeing a massive push to make people addicts. Everyone should be an addict because it's the perfect product, isn't it? So why am I mentioning that? I'm mentioning that because when you have people, if you get the population addicted to a substance or several substances, and you implement digital ID and digital money, you got them. They are slaves at that point, because you can take away their ability to buy what they need for their addictions, and they won't be able to manage that. They will just crumble. So I hope everyone can see the connections here. I hope everyone can see how the dots are, the lines between the dots. So I mentioned caffeine actually yesterday, but when I had no sound. That's an addiction to keep people feeling that they are doing something useful. But most people are not doing anything useful at their workplace at all. And there's a narcotic substance that has been. It's the one, you can go on YouTube and you will find lots of videos why you should quit alcohol, why you should quit smoking, why you should quit drinking coffee. But that one thing, you won't find videos. Well, at least I guess they are out there, but it's not trendy to talk about why quit that special narcotic substance, which is the object of normalizing, and it's a bit funny in all American movies. But big pharma is behind that. Big money, big money. So make people addicted to that as well. Make people addicted to painkillers, caffeine. So you have the whole pharmacy into the bloodstream of people. And when you do that, you implement digital ID, you implement digital money, you have complete control over people. They are slaves. So what I believe is that as someone who quit drinking caffeine, I'm very proud of that. But it's just one thing that I think everyone should do. Everyone should try to stay away from all of these substances completely. And I want to say that nobody should accept digital ID. But I do understand that it will be very difficult, because if that is required for you to get paid for your for you to be paid your salary, then what do you do? I don't have a solution to that, honestly. I don't, and I think that's a massive problem. I want also to say that, well, everyone should come together collectively and refuse the digital ID. But that will not happen. I don't think that will happen. So this is a difficult situation. So, and I don't have a solution, honestly. The only solution, the only thing I can say is what I mentioned somewhat already. Do what you can to be independent of the system. Do what you can so that you can manage on your own, at least partly. You know, the more disconnected you can be from the system, the easier it will be to remain a free individual. So, yeah, it is unforgivable that they are doing this. I know that in the UK, the Starmer government, they're saying, I guess some of you have heard this already, but they are actually saying, are you ready for this if you haven't heard it? Digital ID it will be implemented to stop the illegal immigrants. When I first heard that, I had to think about the connection there. Is there a connection at all? But their reasoning is that so the illegal immigrants will not have a digital ID. So that will solve the problem. Maybe because they don't have a digital ID, they will stop coming to the UK. I don't think they care, and I don't think they. I know they don't care. They don't care about that. So it's I think someone maybe in the government there, they when they come up with these ideas, they sat in a room and they said, can we try to frame this so that it's to stop the boats, the illegal immigrants? Can we get people believing in that? And they said, well, it's a bit far-fetched, but yeah, let's go for that. But it is very far-fetched. So I think the only way to use digitalization, excuse my pronunciation there, to stop the boats would be if you not only implement digital ID, but also completely implement digital money that you can't get if you don't have a digital ID. And hey, maybe that's what they're thinking. Maybe that's what they're planning. But yeah, but if they did that, then obviously it would be very difficult or impossible for illegal immigrants to work in the UK. Unless they are given a digital ID, which I think is not very unlikely, and they will be told that you are now a citizen of the UK. So Yes. Question here: is the digital ID mandatory in the UK? It will be very soon mandatory, as far as I know. That's what it's looking like now. So Vincent here is making a very good point. Now, when you have CBDCs, which is basically digital money issued by the state. So not it's a crypto, but it's not like Bitcoin. This will be issued by the state, and it will be they will be able to program those money. What does that mean? Well, it means that they might, for instance, say that, well, we program into our digital currency now that it must be spent before a certain date. You know, so they might say that, well, we will program into your digital wallet that you cannot buy any more red meat this month, or you have reached your quota, your limit for gas or petrol to your car, for your car this month, and so on and so on. So they can completely program your life through the CBDC. And I honestly, it kind of it honestly, this is something I don't like to talk about because it's depressing. Now I live in Norway, and I understand that it will come to Norway as well. Now they're using the UK as a testing ground. I believe that the EU might be next, or countries within the EU, or maybe the USA. I believe the Trump administration is absolutely very much looking at these implementing a digital ID in the USA. And if they're not doing it, the next government will do it. Norway will probably come after the EU or do what the EU countries are doing. So yeah, it's coming to my country as well. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't like this. Also, because on a personal level, I don't live in a way that they would approve of. I eat a lot of red meat. I eat red meat every day, and eggs. I drive a petrol car, and I don't. The food that they want us to eat, my body reacts in a very negative way to that food. So I would be sick if I ate like that. But they don't care. And by the way, when we are talking about that, the lifestyle that they want you to adopt is not a healthy one. So basically, you should eat only plant foods. You should use, public transport, and you should live in a city. None of those things are good for you. Actually, none of those things are good for you. It will increase your stress level, and that in turn will lead to a lot of diseases. But you need not worry, because Big Pharma has a pill for that. So you see how, again, it's all connected. And I honestly think that this whole thing is at least partly motivated by a need to drive up or to maintain consumerism. And I don't know if you remember, but some time ago, a lot of people were talking about, is this the end of consumerism? Are we seeing the growth is flatlining, the economic growth is flatlining, and so on? Is this the end of consumerism? Well, what you do is that you create a problem, like for instance bad health, and then you sell a solution to that solution in quote unquote solution. Then you sell a solution which is like pills that you have to be on your entire life. So yeah, quite depressing, you know. um, Someone's mentioning hunting here, and that I'm not a hunter, but if it should happen that I can't get any red meat, I would become a hunter, most likely. So, yeah. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah. We are the remnant, says you are spot on. Well, thank you, but also I hope I'm not. You know, and as I often say, it's essential that we are students. And what I mean by that is that we need to remain students. We must investigate, we must be curious, we must ask questions, we must not just accept what's being told on mainstream media, news channels, or on social media and YouTube channels and so on. Don't trust what I'm saying. Try to go out there and find the answers, or rather become even better at asking questions. So now, tactical Viking Beard says something about keeping money out of banks. Well, which I see the logic there, absolutely. But what I fear is that they will. Now, this is a bit into the future, at least if we're talking Norway, because what I'm trying to say here is, what I fear is that they will make it so that you can't use regular money, like paper money, to buy stuff. And then that money, you know, that you took out of the bank, it's good for nothing then. But in Norway, there's actually a law, which is a fairly new law. It can be changed, of course, but it says that everyone selling something must accept cash. If you want to pay with paper money, they must accept that. So, yeah. By the way, how are you all doing? I hope you can hear me. It looks like you are hearing what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Nathan says, what if they cancel cash? Yeah. But again, you know, I think that to become independent, which will make you stronger if you decide to oppose what's coming, you need to get rid of all addictions and all bad habits, so to speak. And I also think that it's useful, as I always say, to have enough food to last for, well, at least 3 months, you know, a way to clean water and so on, to filter water. Yeah, so I will just finish by saying that I really hate this because I love the UK. I really do. I love the culture, and I have very strong ties to the UK. So what's happening there now is not good. It's not good. So yeah, let's keep an eye on the situation, and to everyone in the UK, stay strong. This is going to be a bumpy road, I believe, but you need to stay strong. Okay. Yeah. Have a wonderful day. Okay. Bye-bye.